Hello and welcome to the very first inaugural edition of the Business Hour. The Business Hour is created for the culture creators, the culture curators and membership members. That was a mouthful. Today I'm super excited to announce our first episode here for membership. But we also want to let others that are viewing us and following kind of know what's going on in the world. So many of the experts behind the scene for the membership are going to be piping in and really talking about what's top of mind for the week. And you're going to get a little bit of a preview of what's happening in their worlds with their clients and conversations. And then if you're a member, the video will continue on and you're going to get their solutions and tips, maybe tip sheets, maybe strategy sheets, maybe some verbalization. So with that, I would like to introduce one of our first strategic partners, one of our first experts. She's actually does all of my books and more, and her name is Mildred Gonzalez, better known as Nani Gonzalez, and she is the proud owner of More Consulting. And Nani, why don't you tell the viewers and the members what it is that you're going to bring to the membership itself and kind of what your forte is within your businesses?
Sounds great. Hi, everyone. This is Nani Gonzalez with More Consulting Services. Well, being born and raised here in Virginia definitely has its advantages when I'm working with small businesses, either thinking about something or, hey, I've been in it for so long, I kind of want to get out of it. Or I don't know if my business is doing good or not. I know every year I have to pay all this money, but no one ever takes the time to explain it to me. So the niche that we kind of do is not just do your books and here's your financials, but actually try to strategize with you so that you can either tell us where are you headed. Do you want to sell in 5 years? Do you want to hold on to it forever? What is your exit strategy? So anywhere from, hey, I'm thinking about this, or even I want a career change. You know, I've been doing this for so long, but now I want to go on my own. What is that going to entail? You know, what do I need to think about? We kind of help juggle those hats because as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, there's a lot to do. So we kind of partner with you, myself and the staff, to help you through those steps.
Beautiful. So Nani and her team have been doing my bookkeeping and full taxes from personal and business for several years now, and it's great to be able to have someone like you to be able to interact with that really does understand the business perspective. So you've done a lot of videos over the years for your clients and for Small Business Week, and so I'm really thrilled that you are a strategic partner for the members, and I'm thrilled that you're going to share some of that additional knowledge to others who maybe aren't members yet. So Nani, we had a conversation yesterday as we were going over and looking at the taxes for what's happening in my business. But I asked you, kind of what kind of phone calls are you getting? And that's really what sparked this whole thought to create the Business Hour. So just give us a list of things that people have been asking you about the last couple of weeks.
Sure, of course. So being a stakeholder with the IRS, they send us out tidbits of things that people are asking for. But my clients know to kind of call me first when they have a question. At least that's what I hope they all do. And the three top things that have been going on, at least within the past 2 weeks, is, hey, Nani, I hear that meals and entertainment are out the door. Hey, can I still deduct mileage, or what is the deal with that? And then last but not least, the capital gains. Not so much on the investment portfolio, but hey, I've been holding on to this property. I want to sell it. How much am I going to have to pay in taxes? And the big question is, what is capital gains? Kind of explaining the short term and long term.
Beautiful. I'm going to add to your list because you also said you've gotten some phone calls recently about some maybe mergers, acquisitions, people trying to figure out if they're going to buy either their partner out or maybe buy completely somebody else's business out as well. And I was really surprised to hear you say that obviously, when people initially think of you, they typically do think the back office solution, the tax, perspective, but that they didn't even ask you about their tax, what the impact was going to be. Is that right?
That's right. So today I was just talking with a lady a few minutes ago, and these young people are buying these businesses, are starting a business, and they want to know about everything else other than what is a tax implication of buying an existing business or starting a new business. They're not even thinking about that right now. They're just thinking about how much money they're going to make.
which is, you know, insane. You know, one of the things that you and I have talked about a lot is the idea that most people don't come to the table with all the business acumen, and they come to the table with the passion, you know, I want to buy this or I want to start this, and then they jump in and they don't really move through the minefields. I know that this isn't something that was asked, and you know I like to have organic conversations, but what is the biggest tip for a business owner that you could give to them today about, you know, that whole business plan, out of an entire business plan? Now I realize the deeper the deeper the plan has to go if you are, you know, need funding. So I understand that, but let's just talk high level. What are some of the main facets that they must look at when they're thinking about starting a business or buying a business? And of course, I'm thinking here on the financial side. What are some things that are must?
Right. So one of the must, and there's multiple books and multiple conversations about this, is if you're getting into a business that you know nothing about, chances are you're going to fail. That is the number one. If you want to buy a business that you have been working for a long period of time, you really need to deep dive into those financials, because as a business owner, they're going to be strategized to suit him, not be strategized to make it look perfect for a buyer. Okay, so you want to make sure that the numbers haven't been added to or removed from. So you want to do some comparison. But the biggest thing ultimately is that people want to dip their toe in the water and start a new business and not understand that starting a business is starting like a whole nother life in a sense, because now you have to dedicate time, you have to allocate time, you have to nurture it, you have to massage it, you have to tweak it, you have to find what is most important to make that business grow. And like I tell everybody that comes along with an idea, you have to have a buy-in, not just from yourself, but who's working with you, your spouse, your family. Because if they're not bought into this idea, you're always going to feel a bit of a power struggle.
Beautiful. One of the things that we are going to continue with this video a little bit later here is we're going to have Nani give you a rundown from a financial standpoint of some things when you're creating a spreadsheet, maybe some numbers that you need to include when you're trying to do your own bit of feasibility study and to see if you can financially afford it, if you should get an investor, and then maybe even how you would go through thinking about, am I an LLC, am I an S Corp, and kind of keeping up with the taxes. So for those of you who are members and viewing, you will have a part 2 to this video. And for those of you who are not, you need to think about it, but we're not here for a sales pitch. We're here to give you some information. So Nani, let's go back to one of the questions that you said that you had common, not the gains, but you mentioned a couple of other pieces that you had people have been asking you about. What were those items again?
There was the meals and entertainment, because they're understanding that it's completely out the window. And it's not that it's out the window. And the other one was mileage. Well, let's go back a minute to the meals and entertainment.
Yeah.
Let's understand that meals and entertainment for many, many years was kind of grouped together. And you were always given 50%. Because if you're taking somebody out to lunch and it costs you $10, even though I don't know where you can eat for $10, but just for example.
Not even Wendy's.
They're going to say, well, 50% was the client and 50% was you. So they're going to give you a $5 deduction. But it's been an area of flux that people have kind of funneled money. You know, the Starbucks run, you know, oh, I want to stop and try this restaurant. And they say, oh, it was a business meeting. And so what the government has done, the IRS, they passed the ruling that they're strictly asking for a separation. Meals are meals, and they have to be properly documented, and entertainment is out the door. So these big wigs, the ones that rent the skyboxes and they take all their heavy hitters to go and see this game, that's no longer going to be a deduction, because that is an entertainment piece. That doesn't mean that if you do a power enrichment or team building is not deductible. That's a different category. Let's not confuse them. This would be taking your heavy hitters, you know, buying those special cigars to give to those clients that you know they really like it, and you write it off. Those things are no longer going to be acceptable. You're going to have to come up with, I don't want to say better ways of coding, but on your financials, we need to kind of separate it.
Beautiful. Yeah. What about mileage? Dive into that, and we'll put a wrap on our first segment.
Yeah, sure. So mileage is kind of interesting, because we've always thought that, you know, if I'm going from here to the Starbucks to meet with somebody to talk about my business, well, that's business miles. Well, not anymore. They're becoming more and more particular about this mileage versus running all around, because if you are a home office, then you really don't have the capabilities of meeting with clients. So you have no choice but to meet somewhere. So they're going to be pulling some of that back. And one of the areas that I'm concerned about, and we'll cover this in the other segment, is my realtors as far as their mileage. But for other people that travel, that have some of these more home-based businesses, even my own business that I used to go to the individual clients, some of that mileage is not going to be deductible anymore. They're really pulling back on what is deductible and what is not.
Beautiful. So, Niley, I'm having a big twist thing here. So, but we're not editing it out. The key here is going to be working with experts such as Nani and her team, or obviously your own experts, to
Right.
ensure that you know what you're supposed to track, how you're supposed to track it, how you're supposed to code it for mileage, for meals, for entertainment. So I just want to thank you today for beginning the conversation and opening up. And for those of you who are members, we have a part 2 of this video that will come alive on the members site. So feel free to watch through the end of the segment and the thank yous and continue on. And for those of you who are not members, if you want to hear more, feel free to private message me at Shelley@premierrapport.com, and I will have both my information as well as the membership information, where you can find both Nani and myself on there with all kinds of tip sheets and strategy sheets and other videos. So until then, until the next time for the business hour, feel free to submit any of your questions, comments, and we'll be happy to address them with the appropriate expert. So on behalf of the business hour and membership, my name is Shelley Smith, the founder of the Culture Curators in Conversation, and
Nani Gonzalez with More Consulting Services.
very good. Thank you, everyone. And remember, members, stay tuned for part 2.